If I ask you about games that shook up the world, you'd probably say GTA 5 or Genshin Impact. But did you know that there are games far more interesting that had a real impact on the gaming industry? Well, today we'll be diving deeper into these games and ranking them from 1 to 10. Starting at number 10, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. While you could probably point to a number of different things Oblivion did that changed the games, the biggest has to be microtransactions. While it didn't necessarily popularize them on the market, Oblivion was the first major game to begin offering dotted microtransactions back in 2006. This is something that is probably widely viewed as a negative change for gaming, and it all started thanks to some simple horse armor DLC. As you know, the practice would only continue and eventually boom into what it is today, for better or worse. Number 9. Minecraft. It's easy to take Minecraft for granted these days, but it's easily one of the most important games in a decade. These games showed the world, and most importantly developers, that you would be willing to create your own adventures as long as you had all the tools to do so. You can create anything you put your mind to, roleplay your own adventures, and explore massive worlds with your friends. All things that are now mainstays in most major releases. Next, at number 8, World of Warcraft. While there are plenty of other excellent games in the same genre that have contribution to gaming, none have ever managed to have the same impact that this game had. The 2004 game is such a phenomenon that it's one of the most widely known games among non-gamers. On top of that, it didn't even create a million revolutionary things. Instead, the game twisted and combined plenty of existing ideas, doing it so well that World of Warcraft became the standard for MMORPGs. That's without mentioning everything it did for the concept of raid bosses. Next at number 7, Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow. The first line of handheld Pokemon games set the world on fire, and that fire has lasted for decades. Releasing in Japan in 1996 and 1998 for the rest of the world, Pokemon showed that handheld gaming was forever going to be a success, and that sharing adventures with friends was more than possible. These games didn't just change gaming, they absolutely changed the world thanks to everything else that was spawned from them. While not creating the monster tamer genre, it is the one that solidified it in the mind of people across the world. Now at number 6, Mortal Kombat. Even if you don't play Mortal Kombat, you should know exactly how influential this fantastic game series is. With the violence that occurs in the original Mortal Kombat, the game proved violence could grip an audience. Back in the early 90s, no one had seen so much violence in a video game on a massive scale. The fact that kids everywhere wanted to get their hands on this game changed everything and began the awful conversation around whether or not video games are simple fun art or corrupting violence. Number 5. Braid. Whether you know it or not, you have Braid to thank for the explosive popularity of indie games today. It's easy to forget that there are a long period of time in which creating indie games really wasn't a thing, and when they were made, they really weren't that good. When Braid came out in 2008, everything changed and players suddenly began to crave the creativity of indie developers. Willing to take different risks, use unique mechanics, and tell fascinating stories, indie gaming would begin its historic rise, all thanks to Braid. Number 4. The Legend of Zelda. There is a reason most major developers cite the original Legend of Zelda as inspiration for their video games. Giving you a basic story and then trusting you into a world to figure things out is still a key part of game design today. The NES Classic set the standard for what open world gaming could be long before anyone ever used the term. Without Zelda, you may not have dozens of other fantasy titles, and you might not even have any Dark Souls games at all. At number 3, Quake. You may not have ever played a Quake game if you're a newer gamer, but there's no denying how much it's changed gaming in a variety of ways. Without Quake, both the esports and speedrunning series might not exist in the form they do today. Quake is widely viewed as one of the earliest genuinely popular esports game, with major events taking place back in the 90s. At the same time, Quake is seen as one of the granddaddies of speed gaming in speedrunning, allowing for both scenes to grow and thrive. Now at number 2, Wii Sports. Wii Sports deserves a spot here, and so does the Wii in general. The entire brave experiment that was Wii put a massive spotlight on player accessibility in gaming. The advent of motion control was a huge deal, and the simple fun of Wii Sports only served to help begin that conversation. Gaming is more accessible than ever, and thanks to Wii Sports, that's likely only going to continue to improve. Additionally, these games showed that anyone of any age could enjoy video games, opening the world of gaming to a much wider audience than ever before. Finally, at number 1, Pong. It's impossible to bring up a topic like this and not mention Pong. Arguably, this game is what you have to thank for home console gaming in general. It's easy to look at the simple game and scoff, but it really was a huge hit in the 70s. It's easy to find a version of Pong all over the place, even today. And that's because the game proved that gaming could be a worthwhile pastime. Everyone has those little paddles and balls to thank for the games we enjoy at home today. This is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.